कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जयो कृष्ण बलराम जयो कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जयो कृष्ण बलराम जयो ललित विशाख जयो राधेश्याम ललित विशाख जयो राधेश्याम जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद A.C. भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवराजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद श्रील गौर किशोरदास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय विष्णुपाद श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जय विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन मायपुर धाम की जय। गंगमयी यमुनमयी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरु वृंद की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome everyone. Today we take chapter 11, the universal form, text 46. Kiritinam Gandinam Chakrahastam Gandinam Chakrahastam Ichchami Tvam Drashtam Aham Tateva Teneva Rupena Chaturpujena Sahasrabaho Bhava Vishwamurte Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrahastam Ichchami Tvam Drashtam Aham Tateva Teneva Rupena Chaturbhujena Sahasrabaho Bhava Vishwamurte Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrahastam Ichchami Tvam Drashtam Aham Tateva Teneva Rupena Chaturbhujena Sahasrabaho Bhava Vishwamurte Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrahastam Chaturbhujena Sahasrabaho Vishwamurte Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrahastam Ichchami Tvam Drashtam Aham Tateva Teneva Rupena Chaturbhujena Sahasrabaho Vishwamurte Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrahastam Ichchami tvam tateva. Teneva rupena chaturbhujena. Sahasrabhavo bhava vishwamurti. Kirtanam dadinam chakrahastam. Dhamitam raja mahantateva. Teneva rupena chaturbhujena. Sahasrabhavo bhava vishwamurti. Word-to-word meanings. Gadinam with helmet. Gadinam with club. Chakrahastam, disc in hand. Ichchami, I wish. Tvam, you. Drishtam, to see. Aham, I. Tata eva, in that position. Tena eva, in that. Rupena, form. Chaturbhujena, four-handed. Sahasrabaho, O thousand-handed one. Bhava, just become. Vishwamurti, O universal form. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita 539, it is stated, Ramadi Murteshu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. The Lord is eternally situated in hundreds and thousands of forms, and the main forms are those like Rama, Narasimha, Narayana, etc. There are innumerable forms, but Arjuna knew that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, assuming his temporary universal form. He is now asking to see the form of Narayana, a spiritual form. This verse establishes without any doubt the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and all other features originate from him. He is not different from his plenary expansions, and he is God in any of his innumerable forms. In all of these forms, he is fresh like a young man. That is the constant feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who knows Krishna becomes free at once from all the contamination of the material world. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before we go into the discussion of today's verse, I beg for everyone's blessings and also express my deep gratitude for allowing me to speak for my own purification, also for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and all Vaishnavas, assembled Vaishnavas. So, this chapter is known as Universal Form, which is Vishwarup Darshan, the Darshan of Vishwarupa. And this chapter is 55 verses, and it has 5 sections. First 8 verses is Arjuna's request and Krishna's description of his universal form. Then 23 verses from 9 to the 31 is Sanjaya's description of the universal form. And from 32 to 34, 3 verses where Krishna instructs Arjuna to become an instrument in his plan. Then 35 to 46, which is the current section which is going on, is Arjuna's prayers and his request. And 47 to 55, the 9 verses, emphasizes on the pure bhakti, which is the prerequisite to see any form of Krishna. So we will align ourselves with Srila Prabhupada's purport today. So Prabhupada is opening the purport quoting Brahma Samhita 539, Ramadi Murteshu Kalaniyamena Tishtan. So Lord Brahma is saying that I worship you, Govinda, the premier Lord. You manifest personally as Krishna, and also you come in different forms, different avatars like Rama, Narasimha, Vamana, and many more plenary portions. And so the Lord is eternally present in these hundreds and thousands of forms. So now Arjuna also knows that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But still he is making a request to see his four-handed form. And right now he is addressing Krishna in his universal form. And now he is putting his desire, saying that I want to see you as the Narayan with the four hands, carrying your club, lotus, disc and gada. So Arjuna has three intentions here. One, to substantiate what Krishna is, Krishna's statement, and to prove that Krishna is the authoritative as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He wants to tell people that how Krishna can manifest universal form, Krishna is Narayan, and Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Second, he is also setting a criteria for people so that no one can come after saying that I am God. So Arjuna is setting, clearly indicating that if you want to prove that you are God, then at least you manifest your universal form. So there was one incident I was hearing in one lecture, that one visitor, he came to Srila Prabhupada when Prabhupada was in Bombay, and he said that, Prabhupada, please give your blessings. I met a guru, but my guru is not just a guru, but he's God. So Prabhupada asked him, so you can go and ask this God of yours to exhibit the universal form. So this person goes to his guru, the so-called guru, and then he asks, can you exhibit your universal form? And then this imposter, he says that, I cannot exhibit my universal form because you are not eligible to see the universal form. So this person returns back to Srila Prabhupada saying that I am not eligible, that I can see the universal form of the Lord. Then Prabhupada says that what kind of God he is, that he is not even making his student or disciple eligible to see universal form. Krishna empowered Arjuna. He has given the divine vision to see the universal form. So you can also go and ask him to give you that divine vision to see the universal form. So as this person returns to this imposter says, I am practicing Maunarath, silence. So this is how some imposters come, but Srila Prabhupada was always defending when it comes to establishment as Supreme, Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was uncompromising. And also the third intention is to establish that Krishna is avatari. He is not just avatar, he is avatari. I come from South India, and especially in South India, where people, most of us, many of us, we grew up with this mentality that Krishna is as an incarnation of Vishnu. But not Vishnu is the incarnation of Krishna. Because this is set in our minds. But here we are seeing when Arjuna is asking Krishna to show the four-handed Narayana form, that means this Narayana form is contained in Krishna. Right? So he is again establishing the fact that Krishna is avatari. He is not just avatar. And supporting this Krishna is the avatari from the Srimad Bhagavatam 1st canto 3rd chapter 28th verse. saying, Chete amsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyadi Vyakulam Lokam Ridyanti Yuge Yuge. So there are many incarnations that were described in this chapter. And here Sutta Goswami is saying that, all the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary expansions or the portions of the plenary expansions of the Lord. But the Lord is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all of them come, why? With a mission. Whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. So Indra is the head of the demigods. So he is looking after the administration on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whenever there is a disturbance, there is an emergency, and then emergency, they call out help from Krishna. So the Lord incarnates to protect the theists, the devotees. Prabhupada gives an example in the purport of this particular verse, saying that, there is a powerhouse, and then there are, like this is a small room, and there are so many bulbs. So the powerhouse is supplying some power to the bulbs. So they glow depending upon the need and the necessity. But it doesn't mean that the powerhouse doesn't have enough energy. The powerhouse can sometimes, can even cater for large-scale industrial dynamos. So depending upon the need, the Lord incarnates and in the suitable time, and then he displays his power accordingly. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna is Sadaishwarya Purnam. He is complete in his 6 opulences. So when the Lord incarnates, sometimes he emphasis on one of the opulence, like Parashuram and Narasimha. They emphasize on they display the strength of the Lord. Rama and Dhanvantari, they display the fame. Balaram, Mohini and Vamana, they display the beauty. Narada, Varaha and indirectly empowered Buddha, they created faith among the people. And Dattatreya, Mastya, Kurma and Kapila, they promulgated the transcendental knowledge. And Naranarayana, they displayed the renunciation. But Swayam is only applicable to Krishna because he displays all the 6 opulences unlimitedly. And that is what we see when Krishna himself descends, and we see his manifestation of his 6 opulences in Vrindavan, in Mathura and Dwaraka Leela. Although the other incarnations are put under the category of Bhagavan, but they are not Swayam. So here Swayam denotes that he is Samam Bonam. He is the ultimate. Now let's see another angle. So there is one more shloka from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 12th verse. This is a discussion between This is a discussion between Uddhava and Vidura. So Uddhava is recalling Krishna, and he recites this verse. Yanmatra lila paikayam swayoga maya balam drashyate grihitam vispapanam swayasya chau saubhargharbade parampadam bhushana bhushanangam. I'm sorry, I'm very poor in recitation. So what the translation says, the Lord appears, drishyata grihyam. He appears in the mortal world, Martya Lokam, in his internal potency of the Yoga Maya, Swayoga Maya Balam. And he came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes, Leela Pakayam. And these pastimes are wonderful, Vishmapanam, that means they are very attractive for everyone, even who are those who are proud of their opulences, including the Lord himself in the Vaikunta. And thus Sri Krishna, the transcendental body, is the ornament of all the ornaments. He is the Bhushana of the Bhushanangam.
He is the ornament of all the ornaments. That means usually we put ornaments so that we get the beauty. But when you put ornaments on Krishna, the ornaments get beautified. So Krishna comes in this material world and he displays all his pastimes, and that is even beautifying. Even the Lord in the Vaikuntha, he is also mesmerized. So how is it Krishna's pastimes are very unique? Because they display more mercy. Lord of the Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan, is very merciful to all the liberated jivas because they already went to the Vaikuntha planet, so he is very merciful there. But Krishna, he himself comes to this material mortal world, and he is merciful even to the fallen conditioned souls. One. Second, he performs excellent pastimes, super excellent pastimes, like Rasa Leela, or the pastimes in the householder pastimes that he displays in the Dwaraka. So that even mesmerizes even Lord of the Vaikuntha. And then his form is inseparable from himself. As himself. There's no change. That's why he is Bhushana Bhushananga. So I was reading one article by His Holiness Gaura Govinda Swami Maharaj. And Maharaj is talking about the greed of the Lord. How even the Lord exhibits the greediness. Although the Lord is Aptakarma. Aptakarma means he doesn't need anything. And he's Atmaram. He's self-satisfied. Yet he also displays some greed. Now what is the greed? Lord Vishnu is thinking, I want to fight. I have this greed, I want to fight. I want to display my power of strength. So his Yogamaya, his internal potency is arranging that he will get equivalent opponents. Because he cannot play with someone, he cannot fight with someone who is weak. He needs equivalent opponents. So Jay and Vijay comes as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana Kumbhakarna, and Shishupala Dandavaktra. And then when Narasimha killed Hiranyakashipu, he was very ferocious. And no one was able to pacify him. Lord Prahlad comes and he prays to the Lord to pacify. And the Lord, out of his Vatsalya, he takes Prahlad and keeps him in his lap. And then Lord Narasimha developed a greed. That he wants to experience this Vatsalya Prem. Because the son enjoys more than the father. So he wants to have this Vatsalya Prem. Then he comes as Lord Ram. And then he comes as Lord Ram, as a son of Dashrath, and there is a perfect Vatsalya Prem. But then the Lord Ram was thinking, I have friends Sugriva and Vibhishan, but I am not able to experience. Their friendship is all about awe and reverence. I want someone I can fight with. I can sit down and make some jokes, and I want to have that freedom in that friendship. And also the Lord Ram was thinking, I want to experience this mood of separation from my beloved Sita. But this is being forced upon us because Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi. So that separation was forced. Then Ram comes as Krishna. Then in the Krishna Leela we see how Krishna's friend jumps upon Krishna and they fight, they have mock fighting, they tease each other, they play with each other, they think they are equals. And also the Lord plays this separation. There are different kinds of separation. Purvaraga, Mana, and two more. It's out of my head, sorry. There are different kinds of separation that he experiences with the gopis. And this is a much more higher than the Swakiya. This is Parakiya Ras, where the lover and the beloved, they're waiting to meet. And then again there is a separation, and again they meet. So there is always an excitement in this relationship. But the epitome of this is, even Krishna is greedy. Krishna also becomes greedy, and he wanted to experience that he has three kinds of greed. One is, he wants to understand why Radharani loves him. Second, he wants to know how beautiful is Krishna. He wants to experience how beautiful is Krishna. And three, what kind of happiness or ananda that Radharani experiences by loving Krishna. So he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So my spiritual master, His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj, says that most of the people, they fail to understand Krishna because they don't come through the channel of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is very much necessary to have our, if we want our spiritual advancement very clear, then we should walk through the paths paved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to us. Understanding Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he quotes Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's double reality, saying that, when Krishna wants to taste the love of separation, then Krishna comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to be the supreme enjoyer, he comes as Krishna himself. So this is eternally present. So that's why Krishna is the avatari. He is not just avatar. Now coming back to the verse itself, we also want to see the mood of Arjuna. Why is he asking Krishna to display the four-handed form of Lord Vishnu, like Lord Narayan? Arjuna is the friend, and his friendship is with awe and reverence. It's called Sambrama. And the friends in Vrindavan Leela, they exhibit a friendship, Vishramba. That means they don't have any awe and reverence. So Arjuna is always with this mood of awe and reverence. And Prabhupada writes in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 41, when the sons of Pandu, headed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, saw Krishna in his four-handed form on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, holding his conch shell, disc, club and lotus flower, they completely forgot themselves and became merged in the ocean of nectarian happiness. This shows that how the sons of Pandu, King Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula and Sahadeva were all caught up in fraternal love for Krishna. Because that produces a natural, spontaneous love in their hearts towards the Lord. It draws them much more closer to the Lord. He is worshipable because they worship Krishna as a friend with awe and reverence. And to emphasize this mood of spontaneous dragging, it is in the Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 9th chapter, 11th verse. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja ashe shrutekshita patona nunata pumsam yad yad yata urugaya vibhavayanti taddadvapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. The translation goes, O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You're so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in a particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Because these devotees have developed Shruteksheta, that means they have developed this eagerness to hear from the bona fide devotees, they became mature in their devotional service. And because they became mature in devotional service, the Lord is pleased, and He forces Himself, because He is so merciful, He forces Himself to manifest in their hearts exactly the way they want to worship Him. So there is a freedom of expression. I want to read from the purport, one particular. Prabhupada writes that this attachment of a devotee to a particular form of the Lord is due to natural inclination. It's not something enforced, but this is a natural inclination. Each and every living entity is originally attached to the particular type of transcendental service because he is eternally the servitor of Lord. Lord Chaitanya says that living entity is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Jivera Swarup hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. Therefore, every living entity has a particular type of service, relationship with the Lord eternally. And this particular attachment is invoked by the practice of regulative devotional service, and thus the Lord becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord, exactly like the one who is already eternally attached. So, by following the regulative principle, especially by giving our ears to the bona fide hearing coming from the bona fide devotees, we will eventually develop this natural inclination and we will be particularly drawn to that particular form of the Lord. And we will naturally go towards Him. It is something naturally bestowed. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Ye yata mam prapatyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham. The way someone comes to me, I award them accordingly. So this is why Arjuna is, because his inclination is worshipping the Lord in this particular form, he is also requesting to see him in this particular way. And in the city, in the Sudhama Brahmana, these are very close friends of Krishna. Whereas in Vrindavan Leela, the friendship category increases much more. It again has 4 subdivisions. Well-wishers. The well-wishers are called Shrutas. And there are friends, which are Sadharana Sakhas. And the third one is confidential friends, who are Priya Sakhas. And the fourth is intimate friends, Priya Nama Sakhas. So, also, Prabhupada is here saying that in all these forms, Krishna is exhibiting one particular feature, that he's fresh like a young man. And that is a constant feature of the Supreme Lord. Then in the Nectar of Devotion, when there is a discussion of the qualities of Krishna, quality number 6 describes that how Krishna is the ever youthful. Although Krishna exhibits different stages, like the childhood, the boyhood and the youth is especially very, very attractive. And also Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is glorifying Advaita Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanam Cha Vedeshu Dullabam Adhullama Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lord Brahma is saying that I worship Lord Govinda, who is the premier Lord. And he is not easily known by the Vedas, but obtained only by the pure devotional service. And what is his feature? He exhibits unlimited forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim. And unlimited Ananta forms, and he's the oldest one, but still he's Navayavvanam. Every day in the morning in the Mangalarati also we sing yes, but also in the Mangalarati Vibhavarishesha we sing every day. Sorry, I lost it. Where Navina Nirada. Yes, Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara. So he's always youthful, he's always young. And we see every day the Lord is getting dressed. He looks younger and beautiful and fresh, isn't it? Although these are the deities, someone can claim saying that they're just made up of marble. But the Lord is present. And what is a proof? That we all experience that the Lord is ever increasingly beautiful and fresh. Every day we want to go and before the Lord and we want to take darshan. Because he's very attractive and this youthful form is very attractive. So Prabhupada is saying this is the feature that is appearing in all his incarnations, in all his forms. Although he's the Purana. Now, there are also people who want to imitate God, but they cannot imitate for a long time. Why? Because their material bodies fall apart at one point of time. Because there is aging process, because the time is hitting them and there is an aging process. But when you see the devotees who get Sarupya Mukti, that means they are awarded the similar bodily features of the Lord. They go and serve the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets. Like the Vishnu Dutas, they have the similar bodily features. But they never say that they are God. This is the problem. We see in Krishna Leela, Paundraka, he declares Krishna saying that he is the Vasudev and you please surrender your disc to me. Then Krishna has a hearty laughter saying that what is this rascal thinking about himself. But you see the nature of the devotees who are liberated, who has got Sarupya Mukti. They are always considering themselves as the servants of the Lord, although they have the same bodily features as like lords. When the Yamadutas meet Vishnu Dutas in the Ajamil pastime, Yamadutas see the Vishnu Dutas and they say that, you're very effulgent, you have the four hands, you're dressed in the yellow garments, you're garlanded, you are nicely ornamented. And who are you? And they say that we are the servants of the Lord. They don't say that I am Vishnu. So this is a problem with the conditioned soul, that they're so envious of the Lord that they want to compete with the Lord. But we see with the mood of Arjuna, or we see the mood of these pure devotees, that they want to serve the Lord in any condition, seeing their pure devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada says that they're in the for mercantile business, association for science and politics, but there is no association for the living entities to get out of this material madness. But ISKCON is exclusively cultured where one can get out of this material association. And Prabhupada says that one who knows Krishna becomes free from all this contamination of the material world. Then Bhagavatam also states, right, Yasyam vai suryamanam Krishne parame purushe bhaktir utpate pumsa shoka moha bhayapaha. Simply, if we can cultivate this oral reception towards the Krishna Katha, what happens? It sprouts the loving devotional service in our hearts. And then the side effect of that is we can easily give up, just like there is an extinguisher on the fire. Just like that, we can give up this shoka, moha and bhaya of our lives. And then we can become freed from this. So just like Arjuna, who has been a devotee, who's been performing devotional service, and he's showing us how to perform devotional service. And the Lord is ready to accept his request and show the four-handed form. And so we can also appreciate, and the Lord being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how he is ever youthful young man, and also how to become free from all this contamination of this material world by simply engaging ourselves in the devotional service. And the easiest way is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any questions or comments? I stop here. Any corrections? Please. Yes, Prabhuji. 1 second, yes, I can read that for you. Yeah. Suhrid is those who are older than Krishna. So Balaram falls in that category. Balaram is the leader because he's always wanting to protect Krishna. Then sadhana sakhas, the ordinary friends, they are little younger than Krishna. So they want to serve Krishna by performing some intimate bodily service like massaging, fanning, etc. And Priya Sakhas, out of them is Sridham, Dham, Sudham, Vasudham are the leaders of the Priya Sakhas. And Priyanama Sakhas is also, Sridham comes into that category. Subal, Arjuna, Gandharva, Vasanta, Ujjwala. They're the leaders and they're supported by Madhumangal, the greedy one who is always wanting the laddus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the ones you said, the younger ones who massage him and all?
I don't have the
Okay,
names.
okay.
I don't. But you can look into the nectar of devotion Prabhupada has given in the later chapters of the like fraternal devotion towards the Lord chapters.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there are no questions, thank